In the second unit, we were making the transition from descriptive statistics, which was the entire first unit, to inferential statistics. So we transitioned from talking about measures of central tendency, the mean, the median, the mode, about frequency distributions to summarize the data. We talked about measures of variability, variance, range, the standard deviation. And as we're transitioning now, we're now in the third unit, and it's all entirely based off inferential statistics. So, if you may remember, we left off talking about the z-test. The z-scores can be used to describe data, but they can also be used to infer things about the data. So, the z-test is a measure properly used if you want to compare a sample to a population when you know the standard deviation of the population. Most often you don't know it. If you don't know the standard deviation of the population, you need to estimate it. And that's called the estimated standard error. The estimated standard error will lead to the one sample t-test. So, the one sample t-test compares a sample to a population when you don't know the standard deviation of the population. As we transition now, the t-test can also be used to compare two samples. That's when you have the independent samples t-test or the related samples t-test. This will be the third unit entirely. This one then depends on what you're trying to do. The independent samples t-test is comparing two groups, and it's made of different people. Let's say that I'm going to be interested in seeing if perhaps the grades of my class of statistics are going to change in an online format compared to my class in social psychology. I have two different groups of students. I have you guys, your group of students from statistics, and I have a group of students from social psychology. I'm going to see if perhaps the independent variable would be the topic that I teach. It's going to make a difference on grades would be the dependent variable. So I'm going to compare you all to them, those two different groups of people. Then I would go with an independent samples t-test. I have two different groups of people. I'm going to compare them. I'll show you in another video how to compute that. But I want you to know that what you do with the independent, like the name implies, the samples are independent, so they're not related. Related samples t-test is the same group of people being tested twice. So it's before and after. If, say now, I want to see how different are going to be your grades now that we transition to an online format compared to how you were doing when we were face-to-face, that would be a related samples t-test because it's you guys being tested twice. It's you being tested before and it's you being tested after. Depends on what you're trying to do is which one of those two do you want to use. Now, pay attention. You're gonna conduct your own research project. That's not gonna stop. We're gonna do that. It's a good practice. It's a good project opportunity for you to create your own data. So what I want you guys to think is, would you be interested in seeing a difference among two groups of people? You can just do a simple men versus women. You can do a very simple Juárez versus El Paso. You can do a very simple Valle Verde versus Rio Grande, EPSC versus UTEP. That would be two different groups of people. Or you can do a related samples t-test. Related samples t-test is a group of people before and after. Perhaps you want to test how is the self-esteem of people when they're being locked at their house 10 days versus 30 days. That's the same group of people being tested twice. That would be a related samples t-test. I want you to generate your data, and in essence you can make up your data. That's fine, as long as you have some numbers. Your numbers, like you created your own numbers. Or you can just collect a survey out of people, ask them if you have social media, hey, would you mind answering this survey for me? I want to know how different is the time that it takes to take a bath for men versus women. This one, independent samples t-test. I want to see how different is your mood in the morning versus the evening. You ask the same people in the morning, answer how you're feeling right now. You ask the same group of people in the evening, how are you feeling right now? That's a related samples t-test. That's the difference among those two. In the next video, I'll show you the computation for that. For now, this is what it's like. Okay, cool.